Hey, this is JT and welcome back to G Club. Wow, I just got done with my first game of First Martians, and I just want to give some of my initial reactions here to what I just played, and maybe even talk about a few tips and whatnot as you're trying to learn how to play. But enough picture of me. Let's let's show the board, right? That's what you want to see. You don't want to see my face. So let me switch this around and we'll take a look. Alright, so spoiler alert, I won. I beat it. I beat the first mission. And I did it on the medium difficulty. So here is my proof. Albeit that I guess I could have just stepped through the app here and you wouldn't know any difference. But yeah, I did it. So I beat it. So here we are. Anyway, enough about that. Wow, it took me a while, honestly, to pick this thing up, and those of you out there that have played Robinson Crusoe before, although I've attempted to play that game on my own, I got frustrated early on a few years back before the new rulebook came out, and honestly I didn't even try it again after that, and was kind of discouraged from doing it. But I went through this one. I could see some similarities in there, so those of you out there that are more of those Robinson Crusoe fans, you might be able to speak to some of the similarities and differences here, like having a morale track, or dealing with the travel around like an island. But enough about that. Let me just talk to you about my impressions of this. First off, I love the theme. It does give me kind of that feeling of, the movie The Martian, but without Matt Damon. But it feels like you've got, instead of you're building an engine, it feels like you have an engine and you're trying to tweak it and you're trying to keep it healthy. There is so many things that can go wrong potentially when you deal with these tracks over here, where as things fail, this track moves up and it causes you to flip over these cards from the different blocks. So this is the working block here. This is where you do a lot of your work, your exploring, your gather, your research, and your build and repairs. Up here, your living blocks. This is where you play and you heal and you kind of manage everything in the center. And then up here is where all of your energy and your oxygen and where you grow your food. So really, it's all interconnected, where you need enough oxygen in order to be able to supply the areas in which you work and live. You need enough energy from your solar panels here in order to be able to power everything that you work and live in. Of course, you have different objectives depending on what you're going after. In the first mission, you're trying to build up these three cards here, the backup solar panels, the backup oxygenator, and the backup farm, so that you can build out a seed and get things going. So it's an introductory mission. I didn't really feel like I was in danger until about the third or fourth round, and then things started kind of going up. And as you can see here, my folks, they were getting close. I had to heal in order to get there, but I was getting close on wounds as we were going through the mission. So I have to say that I am looking forward to the next mission to get a little bit more meat on the bone. I thought it was a good introductory mission in order to help get your feet wet so that you can learn how to play the game. But you weren't discouraged about the torment and death and destruction that is to come. I'm pretty sure that there's some things I missed out on. In fact, I know of one thing, that as I got some injuries, I neglected to actually pick up some of these tokens that then create some issues for me. So I may have actually lost, had it been for these tokens, or I may have had some different issues to kind of deal with. One of the things I liked, about the app is that it gave you a sense of story, and it gave you some options that you had to kind of deal with, and it tracked issues where there was an explosion and you don't know where the source of the explosion at. Do you want to go deal with it now, or do you want to wait a few rounds? Now, I wasn't brave enough to wait a few rounds to see what happened, but it seemed as though there were some interactions or events at the beginning of each round that had an impact on you that seemed to be thematic to what was going on in some of these events that were happening previously. So I like the interconnectivity with that. It didn't feel disconnected. You know, it's not like in other games where, you know, you show up on a submarine and all of a sudden you're battling a tank, right? So I really like how it interweaved the story there. Some of the areas in which I'm kind of still struggling with is I'm not exactly sure if I'm pulling off things right as I'm doing exploration, as well as working with the different rovers here. So I thought these were really cool, by the way. These little miniatures, just excellent work here. I like the wash on this. Of course, this is for the pre-order only, so you'll get like the gray setup there. But these are solid pieces. They don't feel cheaply made or anything like that, and they just look really good on the table, as well as just you know, it just thematically fits in with the color wash that they used. So anyway, so there I am. I'm done with the first mission. I was able to figure it out. It took me a little bit to kind of get my feet wet, but I think it was a good, excellent first mission to kind of get you going. And then I just want to dig in and figure out what else is underneath the hood on this one. So this is just my first impression here. I certainly have some things that I'm kind of wondering about if it's going to wash out, or maybe I'm not understanding some things, so I kind of hold off on some of those criticisms and critiques at this point. But this is definitely one that I'm I'm glad that I got, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how everything else plays out in the other missions, and I'm really excited about getting into the campaign. I think that's going to be where the meat is at, you know, with this game. There is so much going on here. And one little thing before we go, I just think is cool is when you go to repair things, you know, you've only got so many tokens typically, and in this mission you're able to go out and find additional tokens from like probes and things that have crash landed, and so you get additional spare parts and stuff that will help you repair. And so you'll notice that this matches up with this icon or this icon over here. So if it's red and I go to use a build action to repair something, I would need a spare part in order to then swap that out for a green token. Otherwise I'm going to get penalties anytime I use it, or in the case of these cogs here, actually at the end of the rounds, it's going to cause some additional damage. But every time, let's say this is red here, every time I would use this work action, I would lose energy. It takes more energy to use that since the energy is down on that particular workstation. But here's what's cool. If I'm out of all of these little tokens here, I then have a really tough decision to make. If I want to repair, say, this coupler here for energy, I then have to pull from somewhere else in one of my buildings. So let's say that I'm really getting killed on having to use this and burning up a lot of energy, and maybe I'm not using the crew quarters very much. You know, hey, you got to stop playing the PS4. So when I go to use the repair action, I'm actually just going to swap out, like I'm swapping out spare parts from another part of the hub, and now I'm switching it over to where now this is all green, but this is now red. And so now it costs more energy for me to go and unwind in the crew quarters. So you really have to make some decisions here about what's important to you and where you actually going to do the majority of your work, and try to keep that workstation up and running. Otherwise, you're going to take a hard hit. So that's just a little bit of an insight on what's going on and how to play a little bit. But I just thought that was really neat, and I can really see how, as this starts filling up with a sea of red, how much more difficult those decisions are going to be. So anyway, that's it for now. This is longer than I was hoping it was going to be. So if you have any questions, please post in the comments below. Let me know what else you're looking out for as I go through this. At some point, I know I'm doing these, and these are kind of not as clean as I like them, and with all the graphics and stuff, but I just wanted to get this out so that folks can get an idea of what we're up against here. But then later on, as I get a little bit further down the road, I'll do some more professional review here. So anyway, this has been JT. You've been watching G Club. Thanks for watching.